into it. Let's get into it. Let's see what I'm gonna cook up for you this weekend, you guys. But yeah, there's that cold front. It's now to the south of the state, and yeah, things really quiet behind it. Not really any clouds, and it's going to be absolutely rain-free the next couple of days because it didn't just usher in some cooler temperatures, but some much drier air. And so when we check on dew points, you can really see that. We've got some 40s up north, 50s for the rest of the area, and a couple of 60s, a little bit more humid down to the base of the peninsula as we would typically expect. Don't really feel the full influence of that cold front as we head south of here, but really we're going to be talking very pleasant, low humidity all weekend long, right on through next week. But notice we kind of see that steady climb. Wednesday, we've got that higher dew point and that higher humidity returning back to the area. Then we take a dive again with a drier air mass moving in. So Wednesday, that is your heads up. That's going to be the active day in the week ahead as we're going to be tracking some rain and storms moving through. So we start by kind of talking about the tropics because that's what's going to help enhance the rain for us. We've got Tropical Storm Sarah, which is going to continue to impact Central America over the weekend, but the remnants of this get kind of swept up in a cold front as it moves across the country. And so some of that tropical air is going to work its way across the area. And so that does get swept up in the cold front, so we won't be talking about Sarah for much longer, but it is going to bring us a taste of just an unsettled day. We're talking about kind of those hit and miss showers and storms through a good chunk of the day on Wednesday. And so there will be a little bit of a variety in the actual rain totals that we get from that. But at this point, it looks like 1 to 2 inches could be likely. So there's where Sarah is now. It is stationary and just really continuing to sit right off the coast of Honduras, Belize, where it is going to be a big rainmaker. That's going to be the biggest problem with this storm. You see the movement on it stationary right now with winds 45 miles per hour. And so as this storm continues to move across Central America, it is going to be bringing a lot of rain. We're talking over a foot to be possible for parts of this area, but then it steadily weakens through Sunday and into Monday. So a good trend as the Yucatan Peninsula is really going to kind of work against that system and weaken it pretty quickly. But then there's that cold front that I was talking to you about. As that starts to move east across the country next week, it starts to pull in all of that tropical moisture. And so that's going to be the big picture. Wednesday, that's the day where things are going to be a little bit more active for the rain. Then look at that temperature drop. It's going to be the coolest that we've had so far this season, where we're talking highs in the low 70s. So we're getting a little taste of it out there today. 60 right now in Tampa, 59 in Clearwater. But hey, those blue skies are looking pretty marvelous out there. As we take a look at your planner for the day, it's going to be a slow warm up. So a good chunk of this morning in the 60s, and then we'll talk right around 80 degrees today in Tampa. Many spots will top out in the low 80s, maybe a couple of upper 70s mixed in, but really pleasant conditions. Another cool start tomorrow morning, 50s, low 60s. I have 82 on your Sunday, rain free right on through Tuesday. Matt?
Perfect. Thanks, Val.
Hi, everyone. I'm meteorologist Valerie Mills. Thanks for logging on to My Fox Hurricane, where we are still tracking Tropical Storm Sarah spinning in the Caribbean. This storm has really slowed down, and this is going to be a big rainmaker, especially for northern parts of Honduras. We're also watching for some of this heavy rain to really start to spread inland once this storm picks up a little bit of forward speed, but it's slowly been moving west, and now it's just sitting off the coast here, and it's going to continue to slowly spin, eventually moving on shore, possibly around Belize as it continues on this kind of westward track. But it's this slow motion that is going to cause a lot of rain concerns. It looks like northern Honduras is going to get the worst of it, given where they're at with the storm's circulation. We're talking the potential for a foot of rain, possibly even some locally higher totals. But look at the winds with this. I mean, this is not a very strong tropical storm, 45 miles per hour. Look at that motion, though. It was stationary earlier, now only moving at about 2 miles per hour. So the good news is once it moves inland, it's going to start to encounter the higher terrain, and it's expected to weaken pretty steadily from Saturday on into Sunday. And so at the start of next week, this storm is likely not going to survive the trek across the Yucatan Peninsula. So that's good news. We don't want this storm coming up into the Gulf of Mexico, where waters are still warm enough to sustain a tropical system. Here's all the rain that I was just talking to you about. That's going to be the biggest concern for Tropical Storm Sarah over the weekend. Over a foot is certainly going to be possible across a lot of Central America spots along the coast there once that moves onshore. And so by Sunday, Monday of next week, at least we'll be done talking about Sarah for Central America. But what's interesting as we've got all this drier air here across parts of Florida and the southeast. But as we're tracking a front next week, the tropical moisture associated with Sarah is going to kind of get lifted into the Gulf of Mexico, merges with this cold front that's going to be moving across the country. And so we're actually going to get a taste of some of this tropical like moisture moving ahead next Tuesday into Wednesday as this cold front moves through. So it's going to be bringing a round of rain here back to the state. Wednesday is the unsettled day that we're watching, and this is a stronger front. And so it's going to be bringing some cooler air to parts of the Sunshine State as well. But otherwise, the tropics are holding quiet. Other than Sarah, there's no other areas of interest that we're tracking at this time, as we are exactly 2 weeks away from closing out this hurricane season. And so we'll hope for things to remain quiet. The next names in line, Tony, Valerie, as well as William. So we'll continue to watch things and keep you updated right here on My Fox Hurricane.